with the help of Jimmy Story, trying to launch a deal that we think is very necessary in this area. It is a kill plant for spent chickens. We have several houses now, hen houses, laying hens, and he has worked with USDA. Oh, there's a sign-in sheet there going around, if you would please sign in. We have several producers in Randolph County, Fulton County, Morgan County, a few in Ozark County, a few in Howell County, right, Tanner? A few in Shannon County, some more in Texas County, more coming in Ripley County. Ben's not here, I see. But there is several hens around, they say. So what we're going to do, Jimmy is the main instigator in this. He knows everything. But he worked with the USDA for years, and he is launching a feasibility study, and that's what we're going to ask. This will be molded and made into a co-op. What this will be. That's what we're wanting it. You're wanting it to be. I'm wanting it to be. It will be producer owned, because you have a problem of people picking up your spent hens or gassing them or not even, putting them into compost. I'm not aware of all the stuff because I'm not a producer. But if you can get money back for them, we feel like this would help. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Jimmy Story, and he will have the deal. He's going to talk to you.
Thank you, David. Folks, do y'all need me to use the mic? Can you hear me okay? If you can't. Okay. I'm trust me. Oh, well, as David mentioned, I have worked for many years, not only with USDA, but also with the state of Missouri and their ag programs. And trust me, the state of Missouri and USDA, but surely the state of Missouri has probably one of the better ag programs to help the producer that I've ever come across. And I have worked with many different agricultural operations. In fact, Tony Stafford and myself, we were asked to go to Kentucky to help their agricultural operations set up what MASBA has, or what the state of Missouri has in their operation, to help mimic it, because they seen how good it was. Because it really helps the producers. It helps with the investment that you do from a tax credit standpoint. And we'll talk more about that a little later, of how it works, how your investment. But we have gone now under contract to look at a feasibility study on different scenarios, I call it, spent hens here in the state of Missouri. And we use different numbers. And we put together just some preliminary. We've got a lot of work to do, a lot of numbers to crunch, run, but we want to make sure we look at what's going to work best, so you as a producer can capture an investment back. If you're burying them, burning them, composting them on your property, or if you're selling them to somebody that'll take them off your hands, you might be able to get more for them by going a route of turning it into a food product, whether it be a pet food or whether it be human grade food. And there's different companies out there that will take your products that you do in a plant, USDA inspected. And it's my young helper right here. She's bringing around some information. I don't know if I've got enough for everybody, but if not, we'll share and we'll get you some. But I think there's some.
Let me ask anybody to share. Everybody share.
Yeah.
She's getting this run. We kind of follow along and draw pretty pictures onto it.
David, I got it. That was for your table.
Oh, that was for my thing? You got more?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. Well, I don't need them.
Okay.
I'll give you these.
How many you got share? Two, three, four,
Well, she ain't looking.
Again, we got several sections in the project here to cover. Some of them
I would like one.
Get in great detail with some of the data collection there you got. Some of the numbers we've used, you may say, there's a lot more birds out here.
Up and
Sure
coming
there are.
young man.
But what we've done was, we took the numbers that we were able to capture, and we used a percentage of them. Just so you're not able to get all of them, so maybe you're doing something else, or somebody else is taking them, but we used a percentage of how many birds we can capture, what size of facility we'll be able to look at, putting it in operation, and we can expand this operation as well.
That's
A little bit more about that, but in our first slide here, I'm gonna go over with you, is the supply side. We looked at different operations that throughout, and from that, within a radius, we have, yeah, well, I did, that's small extent, I did go. But again, looking at the supply side of it is where I wanted to start you at. And again, like I said, there are several different feasibility, business plan, and all that's gonna all be pulled together. But the first, looking at the supply side of it, of 18 million laying hens within a radius. Again, there's a lot more, but I just wanted to look at a conservative number that we can look at, and then what size plant that would support it. Then we have that we also pulled, that could be delivered, 8.7 million that would be pulled and brought in. And then we took the numbers on further down than that, and there's a map that you got in front of you that we just added in this map right here. And you can kind of see the radius that we have. Okay. In this map, you can see the radius there that we've got, some of the different, I call them large operations or contracted operations that are in the radius that we're looking at. That's a 200-mile radius that we were pulling from. And what we call it a 4 hour, what, 4 hour? Yeah, 3 to 4 hour span of radius of being able to pull in. So you can see there kind of like the areas that we kind of encompassed that we were looking at. Everybody got that? Everybody see it? Okay.
So Jimmy, where did you come up with your 4 hours from?
What? I'm sorry.
Where did you come up with your 4 hours?
Based on, that's a good question. Based on the hauling for, this is called humane reasons, you can't go out further. If you put fans up or have an area, what we call a staging area. I don't know if you've noticed or ever seen what Tyson's done, or even Butterball, different ones. They'll have a certain radius, they'll truck them, then they have to stop with them, cool them down, and then that way they can haul them a little further. But that's what kind of,
For us, it used to be, I think it was 4.5 hours, but I think they've pretty well thrown that out the window. Because we've had birds come from as far as 14 hours away.
okay. And again, some of them use misting stations
Yeah.
that they can pull through and mist the birds.
Yeah,
No,
a lot
I
of-
mean,
A lot of these bullets come in from Wisconsin and Iowa, and
Yeah.
they're loaded and drilled
Right.
straight to us. They're not
so
stopping.
we can pull birds from a long distance. But again, looking at what they rate as a humane operation and how many we can pull, we use that just as a starting point. And that's not,
Are these
so-
hens kinda like cattle? They have to be alive when they get there to be able to be used?
yeah. Now, when I say yeah, they also, and I heard, I have not been there, but they'll check the body temperature of it to see if it just passed when it was pulled in the gate versus it done when you left the plant there and it was already dead or left the house area. So that's up to their call. So that's the best way I can tell you on that. So, but we are gonna lose a percentage of them. This is gonna happen. So, but again, we had to start somewhere and looking at a percentage there. And I do know about that going out the window, but they do have misting stations and other ones, you pull through. We looked at if you go on to your next page here, a sizing scenario there that we pulled together, just looking at it to see if this is gonna be feasible, what's gonna take. how many jobs it's gonna take to do it. We kinda started, I don't know, spreading our wings out a little bit. The best one we come up with, because, and I'll kind of give you the reason why we used the medium there, is due to the amount of birds we got, the percentage, if you'll see there that we figured we could capture, we only use 25%. We can bring in more than that, we gotta have a place to start. I don't wanna say we're gonna be bringing in 14 million of them a day or anything like crazy, but we want to have a certain percentage that we could bring in per day and look at them there on an average, I don't have it up there, how many birds per day do we?
It is.
Oh, yeah, there we go on top, 8,700 birds per day. And that's looking at a 250 day, wasn't it, Brenda? 250 day operation there, one shift as well. Now, we can double that shift, we can double the capacity. We can also take that middle one and we add processing lines onto it, so we can do more birds. That facility there would give us the capability of doing that add-on economically. Small one won't, the middle one will. It'll give us where we can add on more processing lines as we need. I'm very conservative about making sure we fulfill our need and our contracts that we got, and then we can move forward from there. The 130 employees, what we laid in there is what they recommend. Also, they have a capital cost, that's everything brand new throughout that whole plant, the whole operation. From that, we've found places you can get this refurbished and equipment at even cheaper price. You can reduce that considerably, the cost factor of a capital outlay for a plant of that size. So bear in mind, we just use that as a starting point. We want to see if it will, well, we're going to make money at something of that magnitude and paying the employees we pay. Now, one thing I'm concerned about is having 130 employees that we're going to be able to capture around here to work. And I'm going to be honest with you folks, there may be some Hispanics coming in or different, nationalities coming in working on that facility there because we can't find certain ones to do it.
Is that counting your catch crew?
Pardon me?
Is that counting your catch crew? A
No.
catch crew?
No.
Catch
No,
birds?
no, that is not counting the catch crew. That is just strictly at the plant operation, that's including your plant manager and all. And we have we've got some price figures we're working on that as well for what you'd be paying them. And you may bring up one thing you did last time I talked with you, is the catching process of it and getting them there. Scheduling, it's gonna be one big issue that you're gonna have to have. The individual's gonna be doing that scheduling, him or her, to get those birds in there the way we need on a daily basis there. Plus, you're gonna need the individual on the marketing side to work. And I encourage you to make sure you look at, on the marketing side, a contract with some of the bigger folks or some of the companies I'll talk about here in a minute. That they're gonna want you to have a contract with them if you're gonna bring them XYZ finished products. Okay? And they're gonna want you to do a contract with them. And I encourage you to do a certain percentage with them. Then you can do other percentages with other different buyers out there. And I also encourage you to look at a broker that's already got lined up with some of those companies. Let him make a percentage of every pound or ton of meat that he takes out of y'all's facility there, and you make more money out of it. So, that's good. Go ahead, if you got a question.
So out of say 700 birds a day, how are we gonna schedule that? I mean, we're assuming that each day a barn is gonna depop and we'll be
That's right.
able to bring birds in there. What about the days that we're down on 130 employees plus a catch crew? Is that
Right.
factored into the profit on that or?
We'll have 250 days, we're gonna have that factored in. You're gonna have a.
So that's just over a whole year. We're
Right, that's over
gonna
a
spend
whole
this
year.
much on 130 employees.
Right.
Gotcha.
And from that, again, you're gonna have some peaks and valleys and
Yeah.
such there, and you're just gonna have to kind of manage that. That's the reason why I'm really cautious about not making it too large to start with. Let's grow this here to where we can then say, all right, we got this working like a, Swiss watch. I mean, good. Then we can add another line on, or another line, or another line, and keep them moving through there. Every pound of meat that comes off is either gonna be going into a bone meal that we want, it's either gonna be going into food grade for human food grade, or pet food grade. So any one of those there we want it to go into. Now we gotta be, scheduling is very important here, because I can tell you, these companies that are doing it for the pet food industry and different ones, or human grade, they're gonna want their product. I mean, it's not like, well, I ain't got it today for you. they're gonna say, you under contract, you've gotta supply it to me. So we wanna make sure we're very cautious how we can do it, making sure we can do it. And that is something very critical in the whole setup there. But again, real quick, we use that medium valley there to look at the operation from a standpoint. To help with the capital outlay, there are different funding avenues that we're gonna be looking at throughout, and I will be factoring those in. And because I'm gonna factor them in, usually I don't, I wanna see how it looks without it, but our last, I call it final, we are gonna factor in some tax credit that we know that'll be available for you, and how it would look. And we can back that out, show that, but I'll also plug it in and let's see what MASBA's program's got and USDA's program's got, and DED's program they got. So we can capture all three of those to help bring down that capital outlay. It's gonna be very critical. I sleep better when I'm not paying too much out, as a banker, so to speak. But now they got make money as well. Let me see.
You need to go to the bathroom or something.
Randall, you didn't hear that.
Yeah, no.
Well, you gotta pay the banker.
That's right. They're gonna help us out, so. And I was gonna say, and some of you already know, if you got questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Yeah.
I'll try my best to answer them. If I don't, we're working on it, we're trying to get you that answer. So, anything you have, you just ask me. And if I don't know it, that young man sitting back there in the back with the black shirt on right there, he knows all the answers to it. So. And David does, so.
I know, I know producer.
Oh,
Well, I know what they got a name.
here's some price ranges
Yeah,
here.
one
Again, these
stick
price
coat.
ranges, we contacted different ones. We also pulled up, some of you may say, you never got that much, or you may get more. But I'm gonna have some homework for you gentlemen, and ladies, I guess, to say, and get done here this afternoon. That's critical to, if you want to continue to move forward, we've got to have homework done. And that is pulling your producer group together as a legal entity. We need that to help with the funding we're gonna be able to go after and other things as well. But looking at the price structure here, I don't know if you see it or not, David.
Ah, okay.
Maybe it's on your sheet there.
Yeah, I got it
Okay,
right
all
here.
right. So we got pricing right here, and how far we want to take that chicken down to this entity, like when we got it here for that, that mechanical, what is it here, mechanical debone material, the MDM, looking at it, how much they pay for it, and something that's scheduling, we got to be mindful of, because we're going to capture more money if it's a free-range chicken. I found that out. It was surprising to me that they capture that much more. But if you've got a free-range operation, cage-free they call it, you'll capture more dollars off that chicken whenever you get ready to get rid of it than you will a normal cage chicken they call it. So you can see the price ranges right here from a frozen whole chicken, a stew hen, live, that's 15 cents a pound. And I'm trying to remember, somebody I talked to earlier today, they brought new birds in, they got rid of their old ones, and they were paying you the X number of dollars on the pound.
Yeah, I just prefer.
So per bird, I'm sorry. And it was like 60 cents or something. So it's not too far off, if you look at about what average, about what bird, 3 to 4 pounds, in there? 4 pounds? So if you look at that, you're looking about the price you was getting paid there for that live bird there on that. Was it very hard to get rid of them with them?
No.
No. Moving on down though from that, we have frozen hens, human food grade there, $1 to $1.50 a pound, and you can see how the different ranges coming on down. Deboned hen meat, $1.10 to $1.80. Mechanically separated chicken was dropping them down to 55 to 85. Human and pet food there on that side of it. Again, the mechanical pet food, 25 to 55 cents on the pound there. And then we're coming down here, raw pet food, cage free, but I was telling you, on the USDA for the pet food alone, which I have dealt with Mars and a few other pet food companies, 60 to $1 a pound they paying for that on the pet food side there, if it's cage free. I mean, that pet gonna eat good, I'm gonna be honest with you. And then we have the rendering poultry meal. If you do a milling where you dry it down for the meal process out of it and grind it and such, you're gonna end up with 70 to 8 or 700 to $800 a ton. I don't know whether that's gonna work out to be yet. We still running some numbers on that. So we have a wide variety of range of cost factors, different type birds as well, and what you can do with them, and look at from that. And we will be utilizing, because when homework comes, I would like to know how many of the, we'll call it, range-free or cage-free birds that we might be able to bring in a plant per year, that we catch it at higher dollar. Would that be interesting to you to look at doing that?
So Jimmy, excuse me just a minute.
Go ahead.
All right, you're looking at $1 to $1.50 a pound.
That's right.
Okay, what did you get for your hens when you sold, no, you had a deep, yeah, you had, what did somebody get for their hens?
60 cents a head.
60 cents a head. Okay,
And out of
so,
that 60 cents, you have to pay catch.
That's right.
Catch.
5,000 per
It's up to
catch.
27 cents a hen roughly, usually.
okay, so this would give you, on a 4-pound hen, at human food, $6, and then at $1.80 deboned mature hen, $7.20.
But this is finished product, this isn't before cost of running it through the mill, correct?
Right.
Right, that's correct.
Right.
Yeah, run through that.
But,
Processing
right.
And again, we run some
Profit after you get it.
preliminary numbers, and it does work out with the preliminary numbers. We have to factor all of it in. But we run some labor costs, equipment, depreciation. We're gonna do a 3-year scenario for the banker, so he'll have a good idea. But we run a 3-year scenario process of it and factor in everything. But on the surface, ladies and gentlemen, it looks very good. And it looks even better, the more money we can capture from those state and federal entities to help do some buy down.
So off of this, say, would there be a set price that me as the producer would sell these hens no matter what? Even if y'all said, hey, look, we're only selling them for 15 cents a pound right now. Y'all can't give me 50 cents a hen. So are there gonna be certain prices for, hey, right now we've got an order for this, we're gonna make money here, or no, we're down here this month?
Would that be in the bylaws of how you, the producer, set it up?
You're gonna, as a producer, whether you're, I'm gonna say, as a producer, because you got a steering committee or a group that's 12 or 24, you wanna keep it in that, or you can go 124, it's up to you all how you wanna address it. But if you stay under the 24, under securities, you don't have to go out, as I used to know, let's say things change. You don't have to publicize it as much when you're doing a equity drive, okay? If you're doing a full co-op, you've got to broadcast it far and high, and you've got to bring in a lot more legal side to the table. And a 24, let's call it LLC co-op, costs you about $10,000 up to $15,000 for a legal side. You go with a 120 member co-op, and same kind of scenario here, that legal side is gonna cost you starting out $80,000, because you have to do a lot of publicizing, a lot of advertising, a lot of meetings you're gonna have to have. With the 24, you don't. So just let you know.
So you're saying 24, that's not limiting how many producers you can have?
No, yeah,
That would be like, okay,
you as a group only, if you can bring in from 150 producers out there, you 24 own the plant, manage the plant, and oversee the plant, okay? But you're bringing in poultry from all the way from Iowa to Oklahoma, wherever. So you're bringing stuff in, but you all at that 24 is managing the plant.
with your CEO, with your CEO,
Yeah.
with a CEO.
Oh, yeah, you can have your CEO. You though, as a 24, and you don't have to have all 24. What we usually do is have 6 of the 24 manage the facility, manage the decision making, hire the CEO, trying to think what else they do. Authorize expenditures from a large standpoint. That six kind of oversee the day-to-day, and they meet monthly or such, and go from there.
And then they'll have to present it to the rest of the board.
Yeah,
The
then
24.
on, and by, let's see, quarterly or at least twice a year, you then bring all 24 together, so we have a meeting, we're cooking up a nice big old hog, and, it'll, yes,
That'd be me.
and have a good dinner and show out what's going on. So, that way, all the 24 know. Well, answer your question earlier, are you gonna get paid? And like David mentioned, you're gonna pay every producer that brings this stuff. If he's got 100,000 birds, and y'all need them in there, you're gonna say, yeah, we could sure use them. We got open space for them there. But we're gonna pay you $1 a bird for them. I'm choosing the number, okay? We're gonna pay you $1 a bird. And you bring them on in to us. Now, if you do that on a contract basis with us regularly, not just one time and forget about it, we might then look at paying you a dividend of 2 cents. You know, depending upon, you can work it out however you want to as a board. But for surely, you 24 will have yourself factored in as a dividend payout to you all at the end of the year. You're gonna get paid for your birds, you're gonna sell the meat, the bone meal or such, that's going through the plant. Then at the end of that year, or some of them do it quarterly, I've had that happen, I've had them do it every 6 months, they pay out a dividend to you 24. But see, y'all signed the dotted line to that banker there, making sure your plant there is gonna make sure it pays in for the balance of what you owe. You're responsible for it. So you get paid not only for your bird, but you also get a dividend, just like the ethanol plants, just like the beef cattle plants and all that. Go ahead.
So Jimmy, you're gonna require us to bring you the birds, or are you gonna have the catch crew to come get the birds and then take
That's
back?
something other that, between you and the plant, if you've got some folks that'll catch them for you and they can schedule it, like you gonna bring yours to me on a Tuesday, he's gonna bring me his on a Friday, he's gonna bring me his on a Monday.
Well, we'd rather you come get them.
Yeah, somebody needs to come get them.
Yeah, and I mean, if you do it like when they gas your birds, it only takes 6 guys. They take the crate,
Right.
the cage to the chickens
Yeah.
in the barn, so that's why it only takes 6 guys.
Yeah.
Versus being outside and having 20 guys carry birds out.
I'll tell you what I recommend, this will work. I've owned chicken houses before, and I had to catch them and, yeah, I had a lot, I have even boarded before, but let me put it this way, I'd have the plant, this LLC with 24 or whatever, and then I'd have me another LLC for catching. And I'd have me 12 guys for that.
Now, the 8,700 a day, that's another question I had, was when we depop, we're depopping 20,000 birds per barn. So are those all gonna be caught in one day, and you're gonna deal with that, or are you gonna make it a 2-day, 3-day deal?
I didn't hear what you said, I'm
That
sorry.
is, this was just a preliminary, and it's averaged. It's not what actually happens every day. This was just an average
Okay.
of what we
A
have.
scenario.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a very high level, is this profitable to go, is this a no-go or go? And it looks like it's a go based on conservative.
Yeah, we want to show you what we've been uncovering and how it's looking. And again, to answer your question though, but I really
Large.
thinking about this.
He's talking more about the large
Oh, yeah.
on that page.
Yeah, well, what I found out was instead of that, you see the capital outlay was 52 million. I still go back to the middle, because I could add any more lines on that middle one there. Be up to that large, won't cost me near as much as that. I'm just saying.
Your initial investment.
Yes, sir. That's what we're about. So, you can lay it, and the scenarios we run, they said 3 to 5 years adding on another line. No, I think you'll be adding on another line in another year. And the sweet deal about it, let's say you do want to add another line on, let's say it costs you, 500,000. That same 12 that invested in this first setup, that same 12 or 24 can invest into the next line and get 50% back from the state, up to 300,000 on their operation.
And that investment, what is that investment? You're talking about the 24,
The
maybe
the
that total amount.
24 is the mass, but it's called the New Gen Cooperative Operation. You can look it up and you'll see, now they can go more than that, but you have to have more members. But 24 members at 30,000 each is 360. Somebody grab a calculator. I think
How many again?
it's 24, 30,000.
710.
720. 60-some thousand, 600-some thousand.
720.
Somebody says
700 something.
720.
a lot of money.
Yeah, almost $750,000.
Right.
720.
That is 700. You get 50% of it back from the state. So if you add another line on, that same 24 can invest in the next line and go from there. And capture 50% of it back from the state of Missouri. Also, the state of Missouri's got a 200, because there's several pots of money that each one of you want to capture. And one of those pots of money is for 5 years. Each year you can do it if you've got expenses. The first year or two, you're gonna have expenses that well exceed 300,000. If you spend, this is so totally separate. If you spend 300,000 in your meat processing facility there, they will end up paying you, or you'll get a tax credit, which is sellable, usable, or transferable for $75,000. You'll get to capture 75,000. If you spend 300, they're gonna give you 75,000. So it is a great program, all of those. And as well, USDA has several good ones. And I'd also talked with the bank about doing a B&I guarantee with the USDA as well. If he would, if they do that, go do that. You know, okay.
So when you set up this co-op and you have your investors that invest into this co-op, are there investors into it, are they more or less like shareholders?
Yes.
Of this?
Yes, they
And
are.
does this
It's just like
co-op-
shareholders, yes.
Does this co-op then pay dividends back to the investors
That's
on
correct.
an annual basis or quarterly or whatever they decide?
Yep. That's the 24. And again, you can do more if you want to spend more on the legal side to make it a bigger co-op. But again, I encourage you to do this may, but you can look at it, talk to the legal counsel. But if I could do it at 24 members and the 24 captures the biggest dividend back to you all, that's where they go. And again, for the catching operation, I would set me up another co-op, LLC co-op, and all you need is, you gotta have a minimum of 12, but you get 12 of them. And that would, you know, that'd give you, and the sweet deal about it is, when I say it can be individuals or entities, so like you can invest 30,000 or X thousand, you don't have to have 30, but you invest 30, your wife, she would be able to. And if you have a business, like your farm operation, it would invest. So you'd have 3 investments there. If you've done 30, 60, 90, that's how that works. And you get dividends paid back on those 3 separate investments. It's the way it's set up. And your legal's gonna help you with that. So, and I do the same, I'm catching thing. Because that way, if you look at 12, that's 180,000, David. 30,000, not 12.
Yeah, 360.
300.
360.
360, you get half of that back. So if you're looking at needing to purchase a truck to haul it with, cages, or lights, or nets, or oxygen mask, whatever, then that money there, that you put into it, and get that half of that back on that dollar amount I mentioned, which is a pretty good deal. I mean, if you think about it, and then you have your own catching crew, that would be able to go do it. You contract with them, you pay them to do it. Your company here is gonna pay them, go catch it for you, and schedule it and bring it in. So, something to consider. I mean, I'm not factoring that in here, but we can look at that, you know, at another later time.
It will be a co-op mainly like MFA,
Yeah.
CS Financial,
Yeah.
which several of us have dealt with.
Yeah. Identical. Well, I say identical. They're a little larger and they got to do trade through securities and it's like Smithfield, I think, well, they have 300 and something members just on their board of directors alone. I can't count how many is investors. So unbelievable. But again, that's how that operation works. And if you got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Did I answer your question, Lauren? Okay. Any other questions before we go on? Is this boring, or y'all having fun? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Some of the companies, if you look here at the next sheet, some of the companies, and some of these may be as you know of them, and I am gonna ask if you do know some, because when we're trying to schedule this, or talk with them, unless you know them or got some, they kinda like closed lip until you're ready to really negotiate with the corporate head. And I can tell you that now, it's just kinda what we run into. But here are some of the companies that buy, and like I said, I have talked with some of them like Mars and a few of the others there that I've dealt with, but there are several of them here in the state of Missouri, right here in Arkansas, or across the board in Arkansas, that we'd be able to contract with to take our finished product. And again, I love to have a good portion, not all, but I like to have a good portion of our product percentage-wise dedicated to a home already. So whenever it goes out the door, but I'm not in the inventory business, and I don't think y'all are either, let's get it out, let's get the other chickens in, let's start rotating this stuff, let's go for it. But we got like I said, we got Diamond Dog Food there, there's still some. Mars did on, the one in Raleigh shut down. They got one still in Canada going. But we have Simmons, we have Tyson's, we have a Better Bouillon that's in Rome, Georgia. I'll be happy to talk with them. You got anything else? Okay. We got also St. Louis, we have Nature's Variety there.
This is regional, this is the national coverage, that's what.
Yeah, and as you see the numbers on the side right here, the national coverage right here of the different human and as well as pet food and, just the rendering companies as well. My question on rendering, I need to ask this before we go too much further. Do any of you all know, what's the name of that company in Illinois? Darling Foods or Darling Rendering? Do any of y'all know them? Okay. That's one I would think that y'all have done any dealings with them, but y'all have not had no dealings with it, Darling.
I've hauled
Okay.
out of their facilities before.
Parker?
I've hauled out of their facilities before.
I figured somebody had to, but I mean, they cover the whole state of Missouri. A lot of the deal on the beef and deer and other things like that, they do that for a fact. I figured they might work with you on your chickens or even turkeys yard, but we might have a little opportunity regardless. I'll talk with them myself and see what I can do. If you all know of any of these companies, or even like any of those over here, we've got Campbell's, we also have Hormel, we have McCormick, we also have like Blue Buffalo, Chewy's and different ones. If y'all know any of them, please let me know. And we might be able to talk with them together, and see what they can do or what they like to do or won't do. I mean, it's just something, part of the homework I'm gonna ask you to think about. And let's see if we can't talk with them. Look at something we might be able to launch into business with. If you want to do that, please tell me if you don't want to do that. So. Now again, backing up just a little bit, we talked about it earlier about what it's costing to, on the farm burial and composting, the percentages there. And I gather from the last meeting I talked with you, several of you do that on the farm burial and do a composting and such. Yeah, you're shaking his head, yeah. Anybody else, others of you do incineration or anything on your farm with your birds or?
I've done composting, but I don't care for it.
What do you say, Dave?
Composting, he's done
Oh,
composting.
composting?
Yeah, it's not very pleasant.
Not pleasant, no.
Yeah.
There's a cost to it, is the point.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten here where you can look at the different, the cost of doing nothing, basically, hold to it. But, in this, have you heard anything of, well, let me just ask you, has DNR or any of them, or whoever been, let's just say, have been talking with you about your operations or inspecting you heavily or anything like that?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet, I think, it might be coming, who knows?
We hope they don't.
I hope not either. Anything you want to add on that?
Well, this slide is to help, I don't want to drive the point, but there's a cost to killing the birds versus
Yeah.
I can make money off of the bird. That's the
Yeah.
point of this slide here.
And that's what we want to do, is bring you awareness right here, like Brenda just said, it is costing you. You know, you're gonna spend time, I know, to catch them, you're gonna spend time dealing with them. But maybe looking at this here by having you even do a lot more with them, through the scenario dollar-wise and the percentage, it may cost you a lot more, maybe a lot worse, so.
There's also, there's some laws in Missouri on the
Yeah.
proper disposal, which I don't know if y'all abiding by those
Yeah.
or know about them, but we did uncover those when we were looking
Yeah,
at this.
they are, that's the reason I asked if DNRs come around or such. There are some very, well, there's some laws and they may get strict, more strict, let's call it, dealing with your spent hens and such here. I know if you're gonna do it, they require several acres if you're looking at doing a composting operation. You have to do a lot with them, so it's gonna cost you, and we're gonna kind of bring you through this slide here, is kind of show you some of the cost factors involved. And you may say, well, it's not costing you nothing, and,
Well, according to what's on the statutes in Missouri, it's 300 birds per acre.
Yeah.
So if you got 100,000 birds, if you
yep.
technically,
Yeah, so you could be in violation, so please be careful, but hopefully with this, if we move forward with the plan, it'll take care of any of that operation there. The plant value here is converting, a zero cost to revenue. Like Brenda mentioned earlier, if it's costing you now, let's look and see if it can't be some revenue coming back to you on your bottom line. That's what we're looking at here. I mean, it's a problem child, and it's not gonna get any better. I mean, unless something comes along I don't know about, but, by dealing with it through a processing facility, we might be able to make money at it from a producer standpoint. And that's what we're looking at doing, seeing how we can make some additional funds coming in. If you're gonna stay in the poultry business, maybe this is an opportunity that'll help you out here. That's what we're looking at. Yeah. We had here,
this project is still, there hasn't been a feasibility studies of one, too.
yeah, we looked at, different scenarios that were already out there, and like I said, the only study we found was in Utah there in 1992. And that's been a while back here on that. We see that the universities had done some of a feasibility of something of this nature. We talked with USDA, we even looked at the VAPG programs. So we looked at a wide range here to see if we could find this, fill in the gaps, and as well look at the information we needed. And we got a lot. I have a whole team that's been out looking and talking and calling, and we got a lot of information. You can see what we just put together so far. And we wanted to see, before I come here, if this is gonna really make sense, or if it's, and I've been looking at a lot of things, but I want to make sure it smelled pretty good, so, instead of like chicken and there. And also, what I want to do, the direct impact here, economic impact it's going to have for the Thayer, Alton, Oregon, that area. We want to see here how much employee-wise. We're looking at a nice, 130 employees. That ain't bad, I mean, for this area. And that's only going to grow. And it could be up to 250, after a few years here. But 130 employees ain't too bad at all. And a nice capital investment for the area right here is not bad either. It's not. And I give Dave credit, because he's one of we've been talking about this, and looking at it, and I guess they discussing different, operations for several years now. And we finally come to a point where we could take a look at this. And so I have to say he's done a good job in steering us in the right direction. So,
Yeah. We'll find out.
well, so far so good. But, we looked at some areas as well, for where the good location would be at. And we gotta, please bear in mind, we have to take into consideration good access for highway, for trucks coming in and leaving. They're gonna be coming pouring in. And it's kinda hard getting back into here, but there's other ones within the county area. I think, like you got Thayer that's on the 63.
Lanes are away.
Yeah, so you got some other areas that would be more, let's say, beneficial for the plant and operation there. And you can draw from a lot bigger area, and that's what we kind of used. But,
Is the rail spur, critical on this? The railroad spur? Having access to railroad?
oh, yes, it does, there it does have. That's
Is that important?
It does, and that was one other thing that gave it a plus. Because, yeah, if we get shipping it out like I like to see, and a lot of places do have where you can get real access to it there. Like Mars, they like theirs, I just know, 'cause I work with them on rice, and they wanted their rice to be railed out to their different plants they got. So if we can get the chicken out of here, same way, it'd probably be good for them. Different ones, whoever we work contract with, we can go from there. So we wanna make sure we, again, look at all avenues that we can. You can research this thing to death, but we can try to get as much as we can, information that we can find, and go forth from there.
How many acres is needed?
That's a good question. That was another one. That's still, I don't have that total number yet, because we wanted enough.
That's part of it. We'll
Yeah.
find out more about that in the
Yeah, we'll have to get you more on that, because we're debating. I want to talk with, and again, I think the last meeting we had, city of Thayer, or was a mayor from there or something like that. And we were looking at the industrial area they got, and we'd be able to tap in as long as we keep the BOD level under our discharge to a minimum that will be accepted. We probably put it in and use, but we're gonna need, I'd say 5+ acres. So
How many?
5+ acres we would need. Now, some say that's a little too much, but I wanna be, we're trying to get in there and turn around good. I want to be able to where we can have good access and nobody real close to it, no problem, no runoff.
What about just overall the chicken industry? If he's gazing in a crystal ball, where's the chicken industry going over the next 10 years?
Good. Bill?
I was just reading a report the other day where the beef industry is the lowest it's been since, was it Truman?
Yeah.
Somebody,
Yes,
some
it's
president.
Yeah, it's Truman Drain.
And, to get caught up to where it was, it would take, into 2028, if they started today.
Yeah.
So the beef industry's low, there's high demand.
And the chicken and egg industry is very low.
It-
And that, when I say that is,
So-
go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, there's
Yeah.
great potential because the beef industry is so low, high demand, high dollar, that the chicken industry and the pork industry is a better economics for the family, so.
And what gets me though is a lot more of them are going on the chicken side to the cage-free, range-free, and they're getting more dollars per dozen, which is good. I'm a little different, in certain ways I think, but that's okay, I can see it, and when I say the egg industry, when you got eggs, you gotta have chicken, and those chickens gonna spin out, and they gotta be something done with them. So we wanna make sure we've got an avenue that's profitable, that we can get rid of them and we can see it. And again,
I'd like to ask these producers, how many days of eggs do we have right now ahead?
4 months.
Pardon me?
4 months, I think.
4 months?
That's in storage and vital, is what I heard.
4 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
6 months ago, it was like 2 weeks.
Well, that's what I read. 4 months now. Somebody's catching up then.
They're also people to depop early.
Yeah,
That
there are.
excess,
During
not
the,
just buy.
during the start of the Ukraine and Russia war, well, Tanner, he's perfect. How many months ahead of there? They had 11 months. You know, that's how much it fluctuates.
COVID hit, they sold them all, didn't they, Tanner?
So they're asking you all to depop early,
Certain
certain ones.
Yeah, more coming.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't started dirt work on a contract for a new barn, it's not existing.
So that's why the other.
Market's headed that direction right now.
Oh,
And that was a question I was gonna ask is, have y'all kind of looked into some of this, what's going on? It's not just vital, it's poultry wide.
well, based on our, again, high level look at this, that's what we had come up with, not that it was going down, but that it was going up, so. It's interesting.
We gotta do something, and I mean, I monitor the fuel costs and everything else, this outrageous. And it ain't gonna come like flipping a switch, like some people may say, it ain't gonna happen quick. I mean, it's one, it's like, wow, and we gotta eat it. But if we can look at something other that's gonna help put some money back in our pockets. I don't know how much, in our scenario that we'll do a 3-year portfolio business plan that will show. And if we can show a payout the first year, great. If nothing else, you'll look at what, it's gonna cost and what we'll have come second year and third year payout. You as a group will then look at how you want to set up a payout and put a cap on it. You may say, all right, at the end of, when it reaches to a point where we're gonna pay out 16% and that's it, that's cap. Maybe the second year you pay out 10 cents or even 8 cents. And the second year or third year, you'll end up paying out another, 8 cents on top of it. You all set the parameters onto it. But I'm gonna tell you now, your homework, I don't know how many of you are wanting to come into a group, and if you wanna make it bigger or keep it at that 24, if you wanna start your steering committee, an LLC steering committee, and you might wanna start it off with 6 of you, or 7, or 8, however many you want. But you need a legal name. I need you to register with the state of Missouri and as well as the federal side. And I can walk you through that, whoever the point of contact is. And that's one of the things we will need to have as a point of contact, whoever that's going to be. That we can talk with and basically get some more homework out. Because that way, if you're looking at applying for some grant dollars, or looking at talking to management of y'all's operation, they're gonna wanna know who the name of the group, and they wanna know who, I guess they basically the point of contact and who the leaders are, who the steering committee is. Okay?
I don't know where you
I might have mentioned that.
are. I know.
Next slide here, risks considered. You kind of see here.
These are the risks and considerations that these are the risks and considerations the feasibility study is going to help address.
Yeah,
Just want to look at these.
do we already cover it?
I don't know, but I think
I mean, I think we've covered that pretty much. Again, I mentioned about the third party. You kind of see the high and low risk factors on the vendors. And again, that's why I mentioned about having you, the broker, looking at him being your go-between. If he's already getting products from other places and going into, well, it could even be Darlings, or it could be any of the other meat processors there, or the companies that are needing it, pet food industry. If he's already got it set up with them, I like saddling up with them and let him take our products in too. And you pay him percentage based upon what he's going to do. And he helps schedule how much has got to go into where. So, again, I really, truly believe in that. What's what's next. And that's critical there. We've got a lot to finish up on the project here. But I guess one critical thing I wanted to ask you all, you look here at today in May the 6th, 19th, all the way up into October the 31st there now. We hope we'll have it finished before then. But we want to make sure we have time allocated in there for each one of the things that we've got to do throughout. We're gonna have a draft of the business plan for the 3-year we talked about. We're gonna have the feasibility analysis finished out, information that we need to help plug in the business plan. All of us gotta work together. One plays with the other one very well in the same sandbox. But we wanna make sure we get all the information we can get. And I guess one critical thing I wanted to ask you all is, how do you feel about it? Is this something that you want to see happen, that is, if it's profitable, that you'd like to have a place to go with your chickens yourself, instead of relying on maybe a outside person just to come in and buy them and y'all catch them or whatever? But is this something that you see is gonna be important to your agricultural business?
It would mean a lot to be able to pick the phone up and say, I depop on this day, and you say, yes, we can take them. That takes a load off our shoulder.
I would agree.
Because there have been bird buyers in the past, when you, 4 months ahead of time, schedule your birds to be picked up and they don't show, or half of them show up. Well, that's a headache for you.
So you'd be supplying them to yourself in the plant, that is. It'd be nice also to have a check at the end of the year that takes care of a little bit of unforeseen things you need. Instead of costing you money, you make a little bit.
One of my biggest, I don't wanna say thoughts, but is vital, I think, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they just depop 1.5 million in about a 2-month time period. Just, they depop 2 million birds in about a 2-month time period, just like that. Can we meet those needs
Through the plant?
with this plant if they change it just like that?
That's a good question. If we have it set up to where, that is a very good question.
I mean, you may have to run a couple shifts, but I don't know if
Yeah.
the labor force.
But I mean, they didn't give, we weren't calling victim, whatever to it, but I don't think they gave much leeway saying you got depop. You know, how can you forecast or project that to happen? You know.
That's good.
That would overload the circuit.
Exactly. And then you'd run out of birds later on.
Yes, you'd be totally out.
Yeah, like I said, peaks and valleys, and it's going to peaks and, and
And
like Brenda just
that's
mentioned, you may
part
have
of
to.
the, yeah, that's part of the, it's a high risk, it's identified as high in the feasibility, and that's something we're gonna address. I don't have an answer today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just voicing concern.
Yeah, it's a great, I mean, it's a great question.
The flip side of that coin is, you know, they're paying them to depop early because they've got so many eggs. They're not just waking up one day and deciding they want to eggs. A lot of money goes into that. What if we don't have that supply come back anytime soon? And then the birds go back in the barns. And then you've got 80 weeks before that barn will depop again potentially.
And that's something we have to factor in, because you don't wanna lay your employees off, they're gonna go somewhere else. And we're gonna have to look at, and like I said, when we have that very high peak, we would run 2 shifts where we can get, more of it out and done. And we gotta also let our broker know, or our marketing folks know, listen, we're gonna have 10 tons more meat coming out here at the end of the week. Go with it somewhere, and they'll throw it on an auction, and stuff like that, go have some there. But we wanna make sure that, like you just said, it's a steady, good flow, we're not laying people off, and the plant's still going. And how we're gonna do that, we gotta make sure we at least address to a point where we're not gonna have to just sit around where anything. So, there's a lot of stuff we gotta look at, and I don't know the answers to all of them.
Well, I think most of our concern is right now, we're seeing that bad drop. So, I mean, obviously, we all hope and assume that it's gonna come back and level out, but.
Yeah. And how long do you anticipate the drop to be?
Do what?
How long do you anticipate, you know, whenever,
It's
have you ever
continuing.
experienced it before?
Not this bad, it's continuing. Not this bad, and it is continuing.
When was the last time it was bad?
I don't know they've had one that's bad before.
Even after COVID, or pre-COVID, or?
They were still building in COVID. My barn was included in that. They're stopped. Happy Egg, Vital, I don't know of any company building. Unless they had a legal binding contract and they'd already started their work.
Yeah.
Where's the closest facility like this?
Oh, the closest
Yeah,
one?
closest.
Off the top of my head?
We have
There's a new one that opened in Sedalia.
Sedalia, yeah. That'd probably be the closest, but there's also one in Arkansas, and there's one in Texas.
Okay.
Texarkana's got one.
You know, just, you know, I'm not a producer or anything, don't know anything about it, but you know, just from an economic standpoint, man, it just looks like such a great opportunity in this area. Really, I don't know how we can pass it up.
Well, same thing, I run some numbers, boy, it look really good, but I am very skeptical. And I mean, doing the research, I just, boy, I'm real conservative looking at stuff, I wanna make sure, like this. I don't wanna lay nobody off, I prefer them, you know, sweeping the floor 9 times a day. Anything I can to keep my employees there, and same way, we got 130 people, we got working, and we got market, I think we got a field. But we ain't got one dead chicken rolling through here right now. How are we gonna make sure we do that if we got a week, you know? I guess they, and this is something I don't know the answers to, but what inventory would we have? Is it gonna be a week inventory we got? Is it gonna be 2 weeks or a month? We got snow days, we got, you know, days we can't get, you know, I mean, those things hurt.
Or you're increasing your traffic flow, you know, coming in on
Study some of that.
63, 19,
Yeah.
whatever. And when you do that, then MoDOT might listen a little bit more.
Doubt it.
Then you talk about an impact, you know, on sales tax and everything else, I believe.
It will have a great economic boost for the county, I'll say that in all honesty. I've seen that, and I can see that it's gonna be, it'll help Missouri as a whole, how, you know, Missouri looks at agriculture as our #1 income here, you know, from beef all the way to soybean, corn, and others.
Well, we have we have, 41 spent claims
There's
here.
several of them.
The-
Like I said, one in Arkansas,
the
one in
closest-
Sedalia,
The closest one, without, I can't sort by,
yeah, and there's also one.
mileage here, but it looks like maybe Sedalia is the closest, 210 miles.
And also now, there's also Simmons in, other side of our,
I don't know off the top of my head. I have a list. I'm looking.
okay.
Jimmy,
Oh,
Do you know how big those other facilities are, like in Sedalia? How many chickens they kill a day?
no, I don't.
I'd be curious to know the
Cool.
size.
according to what I had read, they are running a small deal like this. 8,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
It's nothing big yet, but
No.
they're anticipating also.
And there's one even smaller. I looked at the Amish operation,
Now,
it was north.
my information's a little bit old, but that's what I
So
had.
they didn't do a feasibility study through you when they went into business?
Let me get right
Did
here.
they not do a feasibility study with you when they went into business?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't do it, no. I don't know who done. But,
I don't know how many people do that, but.
yeah, and the bank usually requires it, you know. I'm sorry, I keep pointing at him, but the bank usually requires, and so I do know USDA and the state of Missouri requires a feasibility study business plan before you go after your tax credits or any grants.
It'd be great to get a hold of their feasibility study and go over it.
Yeah, they don't, a bunch of, yeah, I wish
I
they
can give
would.
that out.
And I did, I will say, I have asked, USDA and even state of Missouri has funded feasibility studies of all different nature. And I asked USDA one time, that I needed a copy of theirs, that had done by some company up in, it was Montana. Montana, a lady down it, and they said, sure, we'll send it to you. And they go, we have to block, and I love how they go, we have to block out certain information that they feel is proprietary. When I got it back, there was like one word in every sentence, 10 words, that was written legibly, and then the rest of it blocked out. The blocked out, and I'm serious, and I'm not lying, Joe. I looked at, I called them up, and they said, sorry, that's what you asked for it, we gave it to you. I said, yeah, I asked for it, all right. But, no, we try to capture any of them that's done before, and they're legible, let us look at them and let us see them. They publicize it. If it's been in a school library, like a college, we can go after it, and we try to see what we can find. So, we do pretty good. And I've done with USDA and the state of Missouri, and more than anybody else, I'll say that, but I have not done theirs up there in Simmons or any of them, so. Now, I visited some of their operations up there, seen their, like, oh gosh, who is it that's got they cater to Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeyes, and some others. George's up there. Now, I've been in George's plant and watched their operation. I'm gonna tell you, now they do millions a day. I mean,
40 acres, 100 acres, how big we talking?
pardon?
How big was the facility for that?
Lord Jesus,
40 acres?
several acres. You know, the huge, over, like 2 or 3 stories tall. So, and they had the change racks and running in there, and people working. And when I was there, they had to deport some of them too. They weren't quite legal in there. That was pretty interesting watching all that go on, but that's another story, another day. But it was, I got to see them, but I really enjoyed watching their, they have their incubator building and system. And they had that where they were bringing where they incubate the chicks and send them out to the houses and different places. And they were coming out off a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt was half as wide as this room, big old tall upstairs, and the little chicks, the little yellow rats were riding on that conveyor belt coming down and putting boxes going to the different farms. Now that is interesting, I'm talking, that's just amazing, But watching that game, there was thousands of them on that. Okay, I'll hush up, I can go on more and more. Now, okay, I'll talk to you about making sure you'll need to do a steering committee, pulling together legally. You have to do that. It don't cost you nothing to go on. I don't think that's talking, that's when the registered LLC online. I can't remember. I don't think it costs nothing. If it is only like $5 or something.
Yeah, it would be minimal. It would be minimal.
Very minimal.
Yeah, very minimal. But you need to, that gives you the LLC, different that LLC with the state, you're then able to go on and register with the federal side. And then that way, and come up with a name. You may be, Chickens or Us or something, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, LLC. And if you look at it, come up with a name and pull it together. And then that way we'll have that part done. If you want to continue on, you may get together as a group when I leave and say, we don't want Mr. Story doing any more on this, it's just, forget it. But I'm hoping it's like continue on. So,
Well, that's what we're gonna ask for,
right.
because I don't have a chicken. This is gonna be up to you producers.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in this. I have worked with Jimmy, as he said, for several years now, talked to him. And it is an opportunity, it is gonna be a costly opportunity, it's gonna be a great investment, a large investment. And I do not know if you all wanna withstand that pressure, but today is a pretty good day to find out. So if you wanna make a steering committee, you producers, today would be a good one to start. Because he's gonna have to know, I don't have to know anything. But he's gonna need to know.
We can't go further if
Right.
there's not really a steering committee.
And if you all need to talk to the other producers all over,
There will be.
We almost need to get a meeting of
Call
producers.
to us, my company.
we as the county, we have had some tribal money that we had. We invested $7,500 in this $25,000 feasibility study. That's about as far as we're gonna go as a county. And we need $25,000. So, I'm just putting it on
We'll
the table,
invoice the
boys.
steering committee.
Right, I'm just putting it on the table.
Yeah, and I'm open up being honest too. We will, as we go forward, we'll invoice throughout different phases, we call it. But we'll need to do that, but we'll need to know who's responsible, who we talk with. And y'all can visit with each one of the producers out there. You're not asking them to invest. I caution you, don't go to them and say, listen, we're doing it, invest in the operation. You want to ask them for a donation or they want to, I just want to say you're not asking for them to invest. You say anything other than that, I just don't. So, right now, it's just a study going on. They're putting in to help with the research. But we need to see if y'all want to go forward. So, anything else, Dave?
And,
Really?
and I would go so far as to say I will try to get some investment money for the feasibility study. You know, I know a few people that might want to invest a little to find out, but not very many. So, I mean, with this being for you producers,
You all own it.
you all
So-
own it, it'll be yours.
Yeah. Like if somebody come to me and asks me to give it to them, that's not part of y'all's group, let's say, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll do it, and I'm gonna black out everything except for one word and everything. So, no, I won't give it to them. I can't do that by law. I can't give it to them.
But-
Private.
But we have two cities in this county that their sewer has made upgrades where they can handle this. Jimmy checked into a lagoon process, so, you know, we've done a little homework.
Yeah.
We've done quite a bit of homework.
If you, Jim, if you located on a municipality, does that open up better opportunities for grants
Yes,
to
it
the
does.
state?
Because if, just, and I'm using a scenario, please don't write it in as gospel. The scenario would be like if they want to go to fair and it's in an industrial area, but they need to have water lines and roads going into the sewer lines, let's call it. Both, all three of those, what they call a CDBG, program with the state and the federal.
Here's go,
side.
Bob.
So, you could write it, and they would be able to help with the infrastructure of those lines going into it and the roadside. So, yeah, to answer your question, yes. And I would, if we could get in there, that would be so great. Yeah, I'd love it, but that's me. So,
I guess turn it over to David, we're done.
Well, the only thing I've got is, you know, if you producers want to gather together and have an extensive meeting with producers and say, hey, here's what we can do. You know, we're $17,500 away from our goal for feasibility, and then after that, sky's the limit.
Is there land appropriated for this already?
There is places, yes, that we could access. Yes, there's in each town. So, but, you know, I don't know if, it's something to think about. Gentlemen, I mean, it's an investment. You all are, you know, we're, like Jimmy said, we're here or we're not.
So we're gonna have to add, I would say, you know, looking at this, there's gonna have to be another meeting with more producers invited,
Great,
right?
wonderful.
So, I mean, we need to know that date, and, I mean, I don't know, if you want me to make a bunch of phone calls, I can make a bunch of phone calls.
Don't matter to me. Just, you need to get producers and a bunch of them. Because, I mean, initially, it's gonna be your all's investment.
Vital needs to be present too.
Oh, yeah.
Vital needs to be a big role in
Yeah,
it too,
a happy egg, I'd say they all need.
Mid-states, I mean, you're looking at
Yep.
all of them up in Buffalo, the majority of them, and the majority of them in, Pocahontas, a lot of them's mid-state farms.
Right, Chad Chester couldn't be here today, he would like to have been here, but, yeah, there are several. But yeah, it's, you know, if you had enough producers, you might get by $100 a piece, you know, you make your 17.5. So he can finish his feasibility study, in which he is correct, that has to be done through Core Missouri, not just for him. So, and USDA. So, it's, you know, you know, we can work with our secretary at the courthouse there, and she can, you know, you name a date, and we can make it happen.
So was there a steering committee already formed?
I asked 7 people from 7 different counties just to come to a first meeting, initial meeting. And we done just like we're doing today, just talking about a feasibility study. So we're relatively there.
When was the first meeting?
First meeting, April.
February
February.
23rd.
It was in February, late February.
And have other counties already
February 23rd.
pursued it? Are there
No,
more
ma'am.
going in?
No, ma'am. Nobody else has even put it on a board, chalk board.
Folks, I'm gonna leave that way. If y'all wanna talk, David, he can call me or something, or whatever, but.
Would you be willing to come back to a meeting with the other producers? Because, yes? Okay.
Well, that night we look at doing
Now, you're gonna do what she said. She
Yeah.
said yes. I have a wife
a.
also.
Yeah.
Okay,
If
thank
she
you.
says yes, whatever she said.
There you go.
But here, we're gonna leave that way you can talk, and if they got questions, either Ashley or David can call me up. And, anybody want a card?
Well, you can call them. They can call you then.
Well,
I did just want to throw it out there, there were 2 other producers that.
few of them right
wanted to be
there,
here
and y'all can have them. if you want.
Who were they?
Pleasure's been mine. Thank you so much. So,
Phil and Tyler.
Thanks for coming.
Jimmy, we'll see you.
Catch you later.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, and I'll talk with them later on too about that energy program.
Okay.
There's-
With Hal
there's
Orton.
some- Yes, okay. There's some energy program that can
Because
help
we
you out.
definitely have to have 3 phase.
Pardon me?
Definitely have to have 3 phase.
No, on this one. They don't have to.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I mean, the plant will have to have 3 phase.
Oh, yes, the plant will have
Thank
to
you.
have 3 phase.
Thank
That is correct, by all means.
That is a vital. Okay, well, fellas, Thank you. We're on. I love a good challenge.
We just need more producers here.
Okay. You fellas know 'em. I don't. But now we do know we can have a feasibility study, which that is the main kickoff for the USDA and MOAG. So. Tell you what you do. You find out what date you'd like. 778-08-45 is Ashley's number. He's there on Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. We can get a meeting.
We'll have to just do some calling.
That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. You guys know who they are. I just reached out to 7 people. All we done was played cards that day. What cards we're gonna draw. And we all said it would work. And now Jimmy's got a little money. He's gonna find out if it is gonna work. And apparently he thinks so. I've talked to some other people that have run plants similar to this. And they say if you have the population of birds, it will definitely work. So,
I guess the first thing we need is a date. So I know,
Call people to
Yeah.
show up on that date.
What's the magic number?
I know,
I don't know.
You gotta keep somebody running.
I mean, we'll just have to get a hold of the main vital and
Right.
And
Yeah, I asked Wesley to be here, and he says, and Shannon,
We have a
Vice
meeting-
President.
We have a meeting on the 14th down there in Pocahontas, so that'd be a great time to talk to them.
There you go.
We've got a Bible meeting next week.
That'll meet next week.
So I would say after that, would probably be a better time to consider scheduling that.
And you got one the 14th?
that's the same one.
Same one as
They're all
his
vital producers.
Oh, you're going to Pocahontas. Okay, great.
My biggest concern is it's brought a publicly traded company to its knees right now,
Right.
just on that side of it, so. Start out, a little concerning.
Yeah, when Jonathan told me that, I had thought that they were at like a 5 to 7 day egg, you know. But you said how many months?
My grower support told me 4 months.
Yeah, I'm at like a $1.5 million investment there. Hard to invest in.
Yeah, so, you know. So, names, numbers, people. We'll help you any way we can. We've moved Ashley to part-time, and she's there on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.